The 5th millennium, where killing had become a way of life. The conflict had raged so long, I guess I'd forgotten how it started. All I knew was this. On one side, the League of Free Worlds. On the other, the colonial navy. The result? Total war. Back then, we were told that the final battle was beginning. The defining moment of the struggle to be free. It wasn't the truth. It wasn't a lie either. It was just plain wrong. And I should know. Me? The name is Valdemar, and my story begins here in the Magenta system. A system built from darkness, governed by high ambition and low morals. A dangerous mix. Back then, I'd been down too long. Down on my luck. Down beneath the surface of this damn moon, cutting dynamite from unforgiving seams. Down so deep it felt like hell. Which explains why, when work was over, I prayed my dreams would be good dreams. That night, my prayer went unanswered. The dream began with a crazy man's idea of a guided tour of the system. First up, the Magenta Star. And then, above the homeworld, you see her? The mother of all starships, preparing for her maiden voyage? And check this out. Pirates can be bad for your health. See what I mean? Coming up, our final destination. Right back where we started. Someone, something maybe, was coming for me. Whatever had happened here, nothing had survived. And I mean nothing.
Valdemar.
God almighty.
You flatter me, Valdemar.
Who are you?
That would be telling. Take a long, hard look around you at things to come. The final battle between the Navy and the League is imminent, but it will not decide the fate of the human race. Just like you, my friend, the Red Sun is not what she seems. Awake and live, Valdemar, or sleep forever.
From that moment on, every breath would feel like it could be my last. I was awake, wide awake. I quit my job. It was time to go to work. We put down on Aurora to see the aftermath for ourselves. Now I knew why the outcome of the war between the Navy and the League could never decide our future. The aliens that controlled the Red Sun wanted to take out the entire human race. Nothing more, nothing less.
Valdemar, look!
What are you?
In your language, the Shahar. In your soul, all that is dark.
Why should I let you live?
Because the reward you receive will be beyond your wildest dreams.
Is the wrong answer. Think of that as a consolation prize. Ancient legend tells how the forces of darkness aim to cast their shadow over the universe. maybe the legend's kind of true. Maybe the planet killing Shahar have been around for longer than recorded time. And maybe this was the offensive they had dreamt of, the moment when the light of each and every human life is extinguished. We picked up the Red Sun's trail, but why I wasn't sure. She just claimed billions of lives. 2 more wouldn't tax her.
Citizens of the League of Free Worlds, I am speaking to you from the battleship Indestructible. The decisive battle has begun. Colonial Navy forces have breached a number of exclusion zones and launched unprovoked attacks against our positions. Total retaliation is our only option. This is our finest hour. I pledge that victory will be ours.
The carnage had begun. The slaughter of innocents unaware that a greater evil was plotting our destruction. We switched to auto, slept like the dead. It was as if we were putting in some practice for the real thing. So I guess it was no surprise when my friendly ghost put in an appearance.
Valdemar, we now understand the Red Sun's mission. She intends to harness the power of the Warpole to achieve a final mutation. The vortex will spread biomechanical fragments to every part of the universe, each the embryo of a killer starship. She must be stopped. She must be obliterated before she reaches the Warpole.
Are you sure about this, Valdemar?
100%. The only way to the Red Sun is through the kill zone.
Sounds familiar. I've got deja vu.
The only way to the Red Sun is through the kill zone.
Ha ha, very funny.
You coming or what?
Yeah, let's boldly go where no insane people have gone before.
I was alone. Maybe I was about to die. Part of me didn't care. There she was, closing in on the Warpole, preparing to lay a shroud over every world and every living thing. I tried to pray. For Diva, for all the others who were dying out there, for all the innocents on the worlds that might succumb to the planet killer. I tried, but the words wouldn't come. I wasn't sure anyone would hear. Oh, I was alone. So alone. Will you stop doing that?
I am beginning to doubt your courage, Valdemar.
You're not the only one. I'll repeat the question. Who are you?
Rank, General. Name, immaterial.
Like the rest of you.
Think of me as your commanding officer.
I'm no soldier.
You are now.
But how?
You mean this? Tachyon engram, Valdemar. Faster than light, undetectable, and capable of neuroempathic interface.
Which means what?
I can be right there. I need your help, Valdemar.
Do I have a choice?
No.
What a surprise.
Forces of the League of Free Worlds have clashed with elements of the colonial Navy Fifth Fleet.
Valdemar,
what?
You should see this.
Defenses prior to launching an all-out assault. Meanwhile, back to our top story. The mother of all goodness, the Emperor Darja, she who rules the Magenta system with the boundless beauty of her mind and body, has revealed the purpose of the Red Sun. The mighty starship will demonstrate the omnipotence of our beloved Empress, bringing peace to the galaxy and power to the people of Magenta. Take pride, citizens. Our time has almost come.
Or may be running out. Go in search of the truth, Valdemar.
Hey, wait, I have another question.
You're on your own now.
And the question was, why me? My mind was in a terminal spin. There I was, some kind of deep cover agent who'd been triggered by a guy who could infiltrate my dreams and show me a possible future. Me, Valdemar, who kept himself to himself and got through the days one at a time. And then some phantom turns up and says, "Hey, Valdemar, do me a favor, save the universe." And I say, yeah, sure. When do I start? I headed back to the Imperial capital. Needed time. Time to come up with some kind of plan. Whoa! Why, you crazy son of a... Hey, why don't you just get some corneal implants, you moron? Hey, you. There's something I want to say to you.
Which is what?
My name is...
Valdemar. I know.
And you?
Call me Diva. League Intelligence. Don't ask me why, but I'm here to help.
I name this ship Red Sun. God bless all who sail in her.
Oh, God has nothing to do with it.
How do you know?
I don't, but look at her. She gives me the creeps.
But if she isn't what she seems, then what?
Isn't that what you're supposed to find out?
Yeah, I guess so, but I'm kinda new at this spying game.
Oh, you don't say.
It was weird. There was stuff in my head I just shouldn't know. Stuff about how to stay alive when death seemed the only option. It was as if the General's tachyon engram had opened up a million secret files in my mind. Every synapse, every neuron were striking sparks so bright they hurt. We lost the Red Sun, so we headed for Marjorie's kitchen, figuring we'd refuel and try to pick up the trail.
Tension between the forces of the League of Free Worlds and the Colonial Navy has intensified. Unconfirmed reports say that more than 60 League ships of all classes have been destroyed, with the loss of more than 1,000 lives. The Colonial Navy has claimed that all its
It's
craft survived
beginning. The final battle.
At least we're well out of it. League ships? What the hell are they doing?
But there are no League ships in this sector.
So, gotta be Navy ships flying League colors.
They're going to take this place out and point the finger at the League. I'd bet my life on it.
You may have to. That night, I reckon I'd sleep like a baby. I was wrong. Are you insane?
What's the problem?
You open that airlock and we're dead.
It's a dream, Valdemar. A dream. Take it easy. Follow me.
Valdemar, wake up.
Thanks for nothing.
You were screaming like a baby.
I was flying with the big guy who was going to show me something big.
You need help.
The tachyon engram re-established connection.
Deep space spy sats indicate the Red Sun is on course for the interworld system. You still have a chance to intercept her, but only if you can make it through this.
It was a kind of space only a crazy man would enter. I was alive, but I was alone. Diva, do you hear me? Talk to me. No response. Well, I figured she was dead. Felt like I was losing my mind. Diva, do you copy? Diva, do you read?
Hey, Valdemar.
Why the long face? Did you miss me?
I'm touched.
We picked up the Red Sun as she approached the interworld system. We went in for a closer look.
2 vessels have infringed our perimeter.
Their status?
Civilian.
Launch a death squadron. Use them as target drones.
By your command.
Unisoft, the multi-world corporation controlled by Bill Kane. The Red Sun docked there. I didn't know why. Kane's methods mixed corporate greed with organized crime, and he murdered the competition as easily as he played the markets. But even he was out of his league with that behemoth of a starship.
Look, Valdemar, she's different.
Yeah. She's changing. Growing. It's as if she's alive. Diva transferred so we could come up with a plan. But we drew a blank the size of a gas giant. I figured maybe I could sleep and maybe dream, and the general would show up and explain how I could make a play and avoid shuffling off my mortal coil. Time for bed.
Dream on, buddy.
Maybe. We knew less than zilch. We needed information. Turned out Diva had a little surprise for me. Ugh, what is that?
It's a League nanospy.
Cool. The nanospy took off for Xanadu, the home of Bill Kane.
Hey, listen, pal. You're a good-looking guy. You got an honest face. But it don't sound like much of a deal to me.
It is not a deal, Mr. Kane. It is an ultimatum. We are hungry. Very hungry. And we have no desire to waste time. We require access to your security codes in order to seal the station. As we feed, you will be permitted to leave. Listen carefully, Mr. Kane. Respect my wish. Or die.
Hey, kiss my ass!
Decrypt the codes. Quickly. Human beings, so stubborn, so weak.
The aliens moved fast. They sealed the station, and once they tasted blood, their feeding frenzy intensified. It was a slaughterhouse. There was nothing we could do. But then, when they'd eaten their fill, the red sun departed, and we followed. Nothing made much sense. Had the Empress made some kind of deal with the aliens? She got red sun technology, okay, but what was in it for them? It just didn't stack up. So maybe, unlike Kane, she'd chosen to stay in one piece by cooperating. But all I knew for certain was this. That weird ship had a purpose, which spelled nightmare in block letters. We trailed the red sun to Aurora, an oasis of world in a barren sector of the galaxy. The 7 billion people who lived there called it paradise. Not anymore.
Valdemar, distress frequencies. Listen up.
It's an inferno.
Hey, let's get out of here.
She was the ultimate weapon. A doomsday device with the power to claim every single life on an entire world, leaving behind the shell of a civilization which an invading force could occupy in the blink of an eye. Right now, though, Aurora was deserted, silent, though if I listened real hard, I could still hear the screams of the dying.
Why, Valdemar?
Sounds crazy, I know, but I think they were just testing her. It was over. I'd failed. My mission had barely begun, and I'd blown it. I'd been granted a vision of things to come, terrible things, and I was supposed to be the chosen one who could keep the nightmare at bay. Well, I guess they chose wrong. As the human race fought itself, a secret alien advance was underway. Their minds were as brilliant as their hearts were cold. By taking advantage of our divisions, they could execute their plan without interference, especially now. I was finished. They were just beginning. The red sun, she was on her way. I can only guess at her purpose, but I feared the worst. There was something about her, something not right, which made me think she was like the devil incarnate, with evil on her mind. And me? Well, I was out of the game. There's nothing I could do to stop her. A bad dream flickered somewhere behind my eyes. I saw innocent worlds hanging bright in the void where faces looked up to the sky as a shadow fell across the land. There would be time to feel terror, but no time to say goodbye to loved ones. Without hesitation or warning, the slaughter would begin. The alien victory was complete. The Red Sun entered the Warpole. Her murderous technology spread to every part of the galaxy. It wouldn't be long before she claimed my life, too. The war was over. The Red Sun was history. Guns were silent and the sound of hope filled the air. Peace had broken out. Would it last? I doubted. The League and the Navy were destined to fight for the future so long as there was space and time in which to kill and die. And even though the Red Sun was no more, it seemed a good bet that the Shahar would return. And what of the General? Was he human or alien? And were he and his kind really our allies? I had to hope so, but I learned to trust no one. For the moment, though, I tried not to care. Why? Because I was a hero.
When I was very young, the Earth Empire controlled the skies. The Tsar and his battle fleet saw everything, knew everything, punished everything. Those of us in the colonies never imagined there could be another way. But then, the real slaughter began. Now there are thousands like me, veterans of the League of Free Worlds, who yearn to fight against the savage empire. Famous victory at the Battle of Betrayal gave us confidence and the time to strengthen our fleet. And it gave our leader, the Father, some reason to believe in the future. The Navy was stretched across the star systems, governing and oppressing, then transporting its spoils back to Earth. The League was small and tightly knit, able to hit the Navy hard and quick before disappearing into darkness. But when we heard there was a new threat to Galaniah, our home star system, the whole fleet felt the cold rush of fear. The Battle of Betrayal had lifted us all, inexperienced as we were, but now the entire system was at stake. This time, our families needed us. This time, we were protecting our homes. Lights on the 7 planets of Galaniah were extinguished as the invasion threat grew. We even built anti-reflectors over the phosphorus lakes of Acheron. They'd have attracted the Navy like moths to a flame. And somewhere on one of those terrified planets was the Father, watching, waiting, preparing himself and his army for the onslaught. Everyone knew the Earth wanted to take Galaniah and crush the League forever, but no one knew the Father. In those dangerous times, we trusted a stranger, and he, in turn, trusted us. Wasted and drained, League fleet pilots dragged their ships across star fields riddled with snipers. Friends lost friends, families lost sons and daughters. Brothers and sisters were torn apart in the Navy's drive to end the threat from Galaniah. We fought on, but we felt desperate. It took us so long to secure Galaniah that the Navy had time to regroup and look elsewhere for its spoils. This time, it would try to take Diomedes. League forces were split and struggling. We had too many rookies and a star system to lose. Diomedes was holding, but only just. The League fleets knew it was all or nothing. If we lost that system to the Navy, there'd be nowhere left for the League to hide. The Tsar knew it too. His failed attempt to virus bomb Iris must have hurt him badly. We knew he'd want revenge. Diomedes was resource-rich and fertile. That much he'd want to save. But as pilots, we were totally dispensable. It was simple. Without Diomedes, the League was finished. Without the League, Diomedes was dead. It had been a baptism by fire for the League's fleet. But now we'd tasted victory, and it was a flavor we liked. Though even in the midst of all that joy, there was bitter resentment against the Tsar. He tried to tear apart our homes, and we knew he'd only failed because his forces were spread too thinly. Perhaps he didn't quite expect the guts and passion that the League delivered, but now he knew what we were capable of. He would undoubtedly try again. Unless, of course, we got him first. The surrender of Diomedes was chaotic, but the full retreat from the system was worse. Shattered League ships crept back to the panic of Galaniah as the Navy tore through Diomedes, annihilating last pockets of resistance before they too turned on Galaniah. And now the judgment comes to pass. Dreadnoughts and destroyers spilled through the warp hole, and behind them came Tsunami, the Tsar's personal super titan. I have never before witnessed such a creation. Destruction is its only purpose. It has come here to wipe away the memory of the League and the Father. It has come to wreak the Tsar's vengeance. As we wait for death to sweep us away, I can only leave this recording to the vapors of space and hope that one of our kind lives to witness its message. And the lesson we have learned after these centuries of struggle: the Empire is all. It will never be defeated. Never. The Navy's attack sent the League reeling, but we still felt we were being pumped into the enemy's heart. To fly through the Draco system was to pass by the factories and fuel dumps that supplied the Earth Empire with its vast killing machines. If we were to damage the Navy's ability to defeat us, this was where it must happen. We couldn't waste our chances now that we were there, flying between the twin suns and past the prying eyes of a hated empire. How many childhoods were lost around the rings of Selene or above the surface of Eurydice? Rookies were becoming hardened to the fluctuations of war as innocent fears were forgotten in the searing heat of battle. We hoped the Navy were learning those fears as we were losing ours. We were like an organism, cells working in harmony. We felt that Draco was falling to the League and morale was high. The capture of the Navy comms craft had severed their contact with Empire control. There would never be a better time to strike. The two suns of the Draco system were playing havoc with League fleet metabolisms. Light to dark, then to light again. Our body clocks were beating double time. I heard that pilots flying by Helios were sending messages of friendship to all their comrades before battle. Those in the Hecate zone were backbiting and recriminating before they'd even hit launch. Maybe the rumors were true. Maybe those suns were more than just gas and vapor. Whatever, the tension was real. Pulling in two directions, no one knew where we were heading. The League was in trouble. We were realizing the scale of the threat against us, and confidence was evaporating. Self-belief was draining from my comrades and myself. And from what I heard, there were those in the fleet that even blamed the Father himself. Now we were heading for the Alpha Centauri system, where civil war raged between League supporters and Empire loyalists. They had been fighting for a long time, and each side had its own tales of atrocity to tell. In truth, no one really knew what we were going to find. Attacks came without warning in Alpha Centauri. The loss of the comms craft threw us into disarray. Once loyal League pilots were sabotaging our patrols. They called themselves the Faction. But the League didn't realize the desperate situation, and we were paying the price. The Empire backed the Faction to the hilt. After all, no one knew the League like its own pilots. The Tsar promised glory tomorrow in return for treachery today. Then watch as the League ripped itself apart. There were accusations and interrogations, but how could anyone know which side even the interrogators were on? The poison of civil war in Alpha Centauri had soaked into the fabric of the star system itself, and now it seemed our beloved League was in agony. As we defended ourselves from attack by the traitors, our own supposed comrades, we realized that the rumors had been true. Those who felt there was a better way to control the League were trying to seize power for themselves. Saving the comms craft was vital. At least the command, and maybe even the Father, now knew of the threat. The question was, could we contain it? When the command craft docked and the sellout began, we realized the dream was over. At least, the ideals that the League had represented were finished. For a few treacherous vermin, the League now offered a passport to comfort and wealth. They had made peace with the enemy. Their deal was this: in return for the chance to fly back to the colonies boasting of victory over the Empire, the Faction would ensure that theft and oppression could continue unchecked. The colonies welcomed back the League fleet and hailed them as heroes. But as the fanfares faded, the old life returned. The Faction made sure that the Earth was serviced with the resources it needed, and the colonies supplied what they had, until there was nothing left to give. Most of my loyal comrades were executed by the Faction. Just a handful managed to escape. One day, I hope we might rise again. Our tiny pocket of resistance was now smaller than ever. We'd lost good pilots and intelligent warriors to the Faction. We'd lost valuable ships and resources. And to be honest, most of us had lost the will to fight. We'd all joined this struggle with noble thoughts and aims. And now we were reduced to slugging it out with those who used to be our friends. No one knew if the Father could save us or himself anymore. It didn't seem likely. But maybe, with one last push. These were the sights and sounds of history changing and shifting. Suddenly, the League of Free Worlds was closing in on Sol, the home of our enemies. We'd seen simulations of the system, but most of us had never dreamt of ever being there. Now we were closing in on it, the birthplace of it all. The collapse of Draco was a spectacle I'll never forget. In those split seconds after victory was won, I thought the stars were parting to let us through. The Sol system suddenly seemed a vast and lonely place. After the exhilaration of the flight from Draco, we began to realize that we weren't wanted there, that far from being an all-conquering liberation force, we were regarded as criminals breaking into the enemy's home, and they were ready for us. The Navy's forces had left us seriously depleted. We were in danger of imminent extinction. After we'd come so far, surely we couldn't allow that. We were inside the enemy's home. It was indescribable. They had been ready for us, but we were so fired up and fueled by self-belief that we managed to seize the Sol battle platform, ready for the ultimate Earth strike. We regrouped and tried to keep our minds off the dangers. There was no chance of sending out any scouts. The whole system was crawling with Navy craft. And however powerful we felt, we were still just tiny blips on their scanners. But with our supply channels in place, we were getting bigger. It was beginning to feel like a descent into hell. They were dark times, and the fleet was taking serious damage. But the nearer we got, the harder it became to turn back. The Navy was on full alert now, poised to decimate our incursion into its territory. They had awesome reserves of firepower. We hadn't expected it to be any other way, but facing them in battle was truly terrifying. Their hardware was ranged against us, and there was almost nowhere left to run. To reach our target now, we had to do more than damage the Navy. We had to destroy their will to fight. The League's Caucus for Peace met with the Empire Command as soon as the faction had been dispatched to the past. The Navy could never concentrate its force enough to finish us. To do so would have been to invite rebellion in whichever systems their battle forces left. And despite the vast reserves of anger and resentment that the League pilots harbored, the Empire could never be toppled by our meager resources. To our joy, the League was granted independence from Earth. However, the Father conceded that as the planet had been the birthplace of our species, we owed it to our ancestors to contribute to its survival. Task forces were sent to the Sol system from each colonial world, and stability was maintained. All my life has been lived listening to the sounds of battle. Now the star systems echo only to the sounds of the rebuilding. I scarcely comprehend it. It's a very strange music to me. We had done well. Whatever happened, the League had broken the Empire's grip throughout the colonized worlds. To that extent, the job was done. But that wasn't enough. We knew the Father and the Tsar remained on a collision course. The Father could never accept a universe in which the Tsar still exercised his doctrines of greed and theft. As for the Tsar, his huge armed forces spoke for him. We wondered what else he might be ready to add to the argument. There was still much to be done before we could silence him forever. We could feel the heat of Sol as we drew close to the Earth. This was the place our ancestors had set out from so long ago. Now, though, the Earth signified nothing to us except tyranny and oppression. It was a war that left a legacy of pain and destruction. Now it was within our power to consign centuries of genocide to the wastes of history. With one final assault, we could avenge our forefathers and destroy the Empire forever. That was what we believed and what we hoped for. It was up to us now, and us alone. It was something we should have known. The Empire could never afford to be defeated in its own system. Draco might have fallen to the League, but Sol was not negotiable. The Empire would rather die struggling than allow the League to wrest control of the Earth. So the League fled, sealing the warp hole as it went. With that action, Sol was consigned to a slow and lingering death. Reports were hard to come by as we tried to satisfy ourselves with our grim victory. But they said that inside the ruined star system, a civil war was raging. The mighty Empire was tearing itself apart, fighting over the scraps that were left. It was no more than it deserved. And yet, should we have dispensed such a cruel form of death on our enemies? So many of them were loyal to the Empire by birth alone. Were they inherently evil? Whatever we felt, they were truly suffering now. At last, it was time for our species to move on. I suppose there were those in the League who felt pride, but I couldn't dig out such an emotion. I was exhausted. I could hardly comprehend that the war was over, and now I felt simply drained. The unconditional surrender had come from the heart of the Empire. We assumed this meant the Tsar was still alive. But once the drop to Earth had been made, and the League had scoured the Imperial Palace, it brought back only one message. The Tsar was gone. He had vanished. In those months and years following the bloodshed, the people of Sol left their homes and made new lives on the fertile colony worlds. I often wonder whether they find life without the Empire as strange as I find life without the League. Now that the struggle is over and the worlds rule themselves, something seems to be missing, though it isn't something I'd ever want to return.